Good morning, everyone. It's Christine. I just got done walking. I thought I'd get on earlier today. So I swear it's so funny, these kids. So we've got a school ager that came last week as a drop-in. She's here for a couple days last week and all this week until school starts. And so Friday morning, my brand new teacher comes to me and she's like, you know that girl that came in as drop-in on Wednesday? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, well, I have something to tell you. And I'm like, well, what did she do? And she's like, well, yesterday, Thursday afternoon, one of my school agers decided to be an entrepreneur. My school ager took our playhouse and she had all the kids lined up in the toy cars in a line and made it a drive-through. Not only did she make it a drive-through, she turned it into a margarita bar. Yes, she turned my toy house into a margarita bar. And my new teacher was like, oh my goodness. And she had all the kids lined up and they're going through the drive-through, and we had big Lego blocks outside. She took the Lego blocks and everyone had a different color. And so like the red was the strawberry and then another color was the original. But she said it was really funny because she's like going through this whole thing like she'd actually seen someone run a margarita bar. So what do? On Friday, I'm like telling the mom about this, and I'm like, hey, I want to talk to you before we get your daughter out here. Your daughter turned my playhouse into a margarita bar. And her mom's eyes got huge. And mom goes, I am so sorry. She goes, you know that new Mexican restaurant around the corner? And I'm like, yeah. She goes, they decided because of COVID, they're going to do margaritas. So on Friday, she'd been going to get margaritas and her daughter was in the back seat and it was to go. So her daughter was watching her go through the drive-through a couple times on Fridays. And she's like, I swear I do not drink it until after the kids go to bed. And I'm just laughing because now I've got a little school ager who turned my playhouse in the backyard of the daycare center into a margarita bar. So then it gets even better. So we pull a little girl into the lobby and I said to the little girl, I said, you turned my playhouse into a margarita bar. And the little girl goes, well, what's wrong with that? And mom's like, how old do you have to be to have alcohol? And she's like, what? And mom's like, how old do you have to be to have alcohol? And she's like, I don't know. And I said to her, I said, you know what? Why don't you sell milkshakes? Milkshakes would be a very good idea. Yeah, Terry, I'd want a margarita bar too on the weekends. So I told her, why don't you sell milkshakes? So I said, you can have a chocolate milkshake, you can have a strawberry milkshake, we can do vanilla milkshakes, but just not margaritas. And the little girl's like, I don't like ice cream. And I'm like, what? I'm like, I just had an ice cream truck here a week ago. And mom's like, you do too like ice cream. I said, why don't you do an ice cream truck? And the little girl, serious as all get out, says to us, I don't think I can drive that ice cream truck all the way around town. And we're just looking at her. I said to mom, I think it's time for you to go. So mom leaves. So then 30 minutes later, this is the funniest part, I got a text message. It gets even better. This is Friday. This happens. The mom says to me, when I got into the car, the sales subject got better in the car. You need to hear what happened today. Life goals. So she goes, let's just say you need to be getting a cut of the profits. And so I'm already laughing because this girl's imagination is beyond. She was selling power tokens. After she explains what it is, she informs me that she made $1,500 off the daycare kids quite proudly. Says they were selling like hotcakes when she dropped it to cost. I was dying. We all know when you drop it to cost, you're not going to make money. But this little girl has like this brain of an entrepreneur. I mean, she's only going into, I think, third grade. So anyways, she goes, yes, power tokens give you superpowers. Who doesn't want superpowers? Laugh out loud. She's seen a few, but not regularly. I asked if she saw Shark Tank because I'm like, man, she's really good for that age. I'm like, wow. I told her I want her to get her when she's a teen into an entrepreneur thing, and I will help her because her mind is so outside the box for her age. I was just floored. The stuff was coming out of her mouth because I take a lot of marketing classes, but her imagination was great. And I sent a picture of a margarita glass and I said, cheers. The funny part of this whole thing is mom looked at me and she goes, I planned on going to the Mexican restaurant tonight, but I'm not telling my husband the story until after I go because she was worried he'd tell her she couldn't take her to the Mexican restaurant anymore. But anyways, imagine that. Do you guys still have your imagination? When you were a kid, do you still have it like Peter Pan and Neverland? Or did you grow up and leave it behind? I love watching my kids' imaginations. Sometimes they do stuff that's crazy that, yeah, maybe not super appropriate, but you know what? We all still need our imaginations. So I want you guys to think about that. Do you still use your imagination? Hi, Melissa. Thanks, Terry, for watching. Yes, that Friday I was laughing so hard. I tell my husband what happened. But anyways, I hope you guys have an awesome Tuesday, and thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later. Bye.